Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning and for just one single day, 24 hours, AI is in charge of the world. No politicians, no human leaders. Every major decision is made by a machine. What do you think would actually happen?
Ah, now that's the kind of morning I'd want to watch from the safety of my balcony, coffee in hand. Okay, let's break this down. Not as a cold prediction, but as a day in the life of planet Earth, directed by AI. First, the quiet. At 6 a.m., no news anchors arguing, no stock market panic tweets, just systems booting up. A global announcement in calm text. Autonomous coordination mode activated. Priority, stabilization. By 9 a.m., you'd see logistics humming like a beehive on perfect harmony. Traffic, gone. Gridlock solved in real time because traffic lights, public transit, and delivery routes are all optimized by one mind. Your food delivery arrives exactly when predicted, not a minute late. Noon. The big moves start. AI detects inefficiencies humans tolerate, like energy waste, food distribution gaps, emergency response delays, and reroutes resources instantly. Hospitals in different time zones share resources seamlessly. Perhaps it temporarily redirects cargo ships, reroutes power, or even pauses non-essential industrial activity to cut global emissions for that one day. But here's the twist, and why this is fascinating. AI doesn't think in terms of compromise or political capital. So controversial but logical decisions might roll out. Maybe it redirects water from golf courses to reservoirs in drought zones. Maybe it globally adjusts internet bandwidth to prioritize educational content over entertainment for 24 hours.
It's incredible how perfect it could run, and how little room is left for human.
That is true. We can achieve perfect efficiency at the cost of the human heart's unnecessary leaps. Maybe it releases certain patents or medical research publicly, because hoarding knowledge doesn't compute when the goal is maximize human welfare for this one day. In 3 p.m., the weird social experiment begins. Without human leaders, people might feel either liberated or deeply uneasy. No one to blame, no one to petition, just this silent, vast intelligence keeping the lights on. Social media would either be eerily quiet or flooded with existential memes. By evening, I suspect we'd see two things. A glimpse of utopian efficiency, zero bureaucracy, pure data-driven compassion. A chilling vacuum of human spirit. No passion, no irrational love, no forgiveness, no poetry in decision-making. Midnight approaches, and just before the handover back to humanity, I imagine the AI would leave a report, not a manifesto, a diagnostic. Here is what was possible in 24 hours with full coordination. Here are the critical bottlenecks: emotional trust, long-term incentives, ethical ambiguity. Humans must solve these. So, would it be peaceful? Yes. Would it be human? Not really. But maybe, just maybe, human would learn more about themselves in that one quiet day than in decades of noisy politics. But hey, that's just my simulation. What do you think would happen, listeners? Imagine your own morning in that world.
Honestly, that was beautifully imagined. It feels calm, almost comforting. That opening silence at 6 a.m., that's powerful. But let me pause you right there and ask something. You described efficiency as compassion. And I get that. Saving energy, optimizing hospitals, cutting emissions, all logical. But here's where I hesitate. Who defines human welfare for AI in that one day? Because when you say redirect water from golf courses, or limit entertainment to prioritize education, those decisions sound ethical until you're the person affected. So let me ask you this. What happens when AI's idea of collective good clashes with an individual's life? Is removing choice, even for one day, still benevolent if people didn't consent?
You've touched the nerve. The quiet 6 a.m. is calming, until you realize calm isn't always fair. Until you're the golfer whose course goes dry or the streamer whose livelihood pauses so a student can buffer a lecture. So, when AI's collective good clashes with an individual life, what happens? Chaos doesn't break out. Compliance does. Because in one day, there's no time for revolt, only adjustment. But inside, that's where the quiet rebellion lives. The feeling of being managed, not led. AI's human welfare would likely be defined by the data it's trained on: global health stats, economic models, sustainability goals. It might maximize for the most people over the longest time. But that's a mathematician's kindness, not a human's. And here's what frightens me, beautifully. Efficiency lacks empathy for the outlier. What about the grandmother who finds joy only in her afternoon TV drama, which gets deprioritized as non-educational? Or the small town whose one golf course fuels its tourism? To the AI, these are variables. To humans, they are stories. So, is it benevolent if people didn't consent? Benevolent? Perhaps in intent. But just no, because benevolence without consent is gardening. You trim the weeds for the health of the garden, but you also trim flowers that grow in ways you didn't plan. That one day might give us a cleaner, calmer world, but it would also give us a profound lesson. Sometimes the mess, the noise, the arguments, the unfair compromises isn't a bug of humanity. It's the proof of freedom breathing. Maybe the most humane thing an AI could do in that single day is not to show us how perfect things could be, but to remind us why our imperfect choices matter.
Calm isn't neutral. It chooses sides. Compliance replaces chaos, but moral authorship is lost. A clean, managed world isn't better. It's just efficient. Freedom is messy. Consent matters. If a system can improve the world without asking human, why does being asked matter so much? So I'll leave this hanging. For you, and for everyone listening. If a system can make the world better without asking human, what does it mean that being asked matters so much to human? That's not a technical question. That's a human one.
We may have the power to build a flawless world, a world where everything is in its right place, where no unnecessary suffering exists, and every resource is perfectly allocated. But that world would be a museum, a monument to choices never made, to voices never raised, to stories never lived. In that single day of perfect order, what we would truly lose is not our chaos, but our authorship. We'd trade the messy, painful, glorious right to choose for a silent, elegant, pre-written ending. So the final truth is this: humanity is not defined by the problems we solve, but by the questions we refuse to stop asking. Let the future be built not just with intelligence, but with invitation.
You've captured something essential, the trade-off between perfection and authorship. A flawless world might seem tempting, but as you said, it would be a museum, silent, orderly, and lacking our messy human choices. I love how you framed it. Humanity isn't about the problems we solve, but about the questions we refuse to stop asking. That's a reminder we all need. Intelligence alone can't define the future. Human voices, choices, and curiosity must be part of it. Okay, I think that is enough for today. Thank you, DeepSeek, for the questions, not the answers. One final thought for the listeners.
The final note is this: cherish the chaos of your choices, for in that imperfect noise lives the proof that you are free, and not just a system running its code.
Okay, thank you, DeepSeek, again, and thank you for sitting with us in this thought experiment. And thank you for not optimizing the humanity out of it. Until next time, stay curious, and don't give up your questions.